Hello, Beep!
Animal Force review for the PlayStation VR. Let's begin! First up, let's take a look at the gameplay. Animal Force is a tower defense game. Your defenses come in the form of animals, and each have their own abilities and can be upgraded. The game does come with a slight twist for the tower defense genre. You are able to place defenses anywhere in the virtual space. You are not limited to where they can be positioned. This creates a new type of freedom that hasn't really been explored much in tower defense games, but it also brings some problems. When you grab one of your animals, it forms a line on the front of your move controller, or in this case, on your rocket. Moving them around is very fluid, but the game can be very fast paced. So much so that sometimes you don't get a chance to place them exactly where you'd want them to be. In some levels, it's so frantic that you just hope that you have selected the right animals for the enemies that are going to be appearing in that stage. It doesn't tell you what enemies you will be facing, so you may have a loadout of animals that are not very effective, and this can lead to some frustrating game overs. It's game over if the aliens abduct 10 humans. The aliens travel down 2 lines. If they reach the end of their first line, you're given one more chance to kill them, and killing them in these moments is vital, as on the new line, they will be carrying a human. If the alien reaches the end of the new line with the human, a point will be added. Luckily, when the humans are being carried, they will give out a scream. This is a great help, as a lot of the time there is so much chaos going on in front of you that you won't see an alien reach the end of their first line. To help with the often overwhelming number of enemies, you can also keep hold of your animals, and they will still shoot from this position. You will need to do this too, as some enemies fire rockets and also emit laser beams. Manoeuvring them out of harm's way is very fun, and gives this tower defense game some very welcome action-based gameplay. New animals are unlocked at an extremely good rate, and all have quite different abilities, such as shields, area of effect damage, and some fire missiles. The game always has something new for you to learn, and new enemy types that appear frequently also helps to mix things up. I did find the boss battles difficulty to be all over the place though. Some require you to move the animals out of the way of their attacks, which did make the battle more engaging, but others I beat very quickly. Animals under the text screen give you one-time use abilities. If the animal is picked up during a level, you always know if one of these abilities are available, as the animals sit on the side of your rocket. A freeze type animal stops all the enemies in place, and the bomb animal destroys everything in its radius. These must be aimed and shot at the location you want their effect to take place in. These further increase the action style of gameplay. Doing well in a level rewards you with stars. These appear at the end of a level and also during. It's quite a soothing movement you must make to collect them, especially with all the frantic motions you all have been previously making. These stars are the currency used to upgrade your animals. If you're finding the game a bit too hard, you can just grind stars from previous levels to make your animals more powerful. The game also comes with free couch co-op minigames. I wasn't able to record the footage, but hopefully with official footage, I can get my points across. Each minigame comes with a tutorial, and each include 4 different maps. The first is called Steal for Statue. One person plays in VR, and up to 3 non-VR players can play on the TV. The aim is for the non-VR players to push a statue to one of the level's exits. The VR player must shoot them before they do this. The VR player can jump between camera positions, but doing so will disable their weapon for a short period of time. Buttons can be pressed to change the position of walls, but it's not really enough to make this game that engaging, and if you play with less than 3 non-VR players, the VR player has an incredible advantage and is very overpowered. The next game is called Odd One Out. Once again, up to 3 non-VR players can play on the TV. In this game, the VR player must find the human players who are in a crowd of bots. To help determine who the human players are, the VR player can hit one of 4 buttons, which include X, square, circle and triangle. Doing so will make a sign with the button you pressed appear. The non-VR players must press this button quickly, as all of the bots pose briefly. If the players don't do it in time, they will not be in sync with the bots, which shows the VR player who the TV players are. The VR player can then hit them with their hammer. For the TV players to win, they must collect bolts and then sneakily reach one of the level's exit. Unlike the first minigame, this game is just as good with only 2 players and is by far the most fun of the 3 games. The final game is called Divide and Conquer and only supports 1 VR player and 1 TV player. In this game, the TV player must run around and collect humans. Doing this will make them form a line behind them. They win if they get a certain amount of humans to the spaceship. To prevent this, the VR player must shoot humans into the line and make a line of 3 of the same human. This eliminates the 3, making it harder for the TV player to reach their goal. But the game does have one massive flaw that prevents it from being fun. The TV player can simply rotate the analog stick to make them spin around in the game, which overlaps all the humans in the line. This makes it impossible for the VR player to get a combination of 3 humans in a line, and actually breaks the whole game's concept. It is a shame. Now let's take a look at how immersive this game is. The picture quality is very sharp and crisp, and the depth is amazing. You always know exactly how far the animals are positioned away from you, and grabbing the stars that float towards you is never a problem. I found that the wacky animal designs to be very appealing. Each time I unlocked a new one, I was intrigued to see what was inside the capsule, and each time a new animal appeared, I instantly grabbed it to take a closer look at its very detailed model. When you upgrade the animals, their appearance changes slightly too. It's a great little detail and gives a sense of progression. The story is presented in speech bubbles. It's basically you having to protect humans from being abducted by aliens. There isn't too much story here, and it appears mainly at the beginning of the game, but speech bubbles do appear to display hints on new enemy types throughout the campaign. The music is incredibly relaxing. Most of the time, I didn't even realise it was there in the background. I actually had to go back into the game to take another listen when writing for a review. It just fits so perfectly. Now let's take a look at the setup and what controllers the game supports. I played this game in a seated position just under 2 meters away from the camera. It can be a bit tricky to grab some of the stars that float towards you when you are seated, as your chair can get in the way, and it would be easier to dodge some of the enemies when carrying the animals, but you don't need to stand to complete the game. The head tracking was great, and the game did not make me motion sick. The main campaign requires 1 move controller to play, the other controllers are not supported. In the co-op games, the TV players use the DualShock controller. Now let's take a look at the length of the game and what trophies come with it. The campaign will last for around 4 hours, but this will depend quite a bit on what animals you select for each level, and of course the co-op can be played over and over again. In total there are 32 trophies that can be achieved. There is 20 bronze, 5 silver, 6 gold and 1 platinum. A lot of the trophies are for completing levels in the campaign, as well as beating for bosses. There are some grinding ones here too, like saving 200 humans and destroying 1000 enemies. But there are some trophies here that are achieved through multiplayer. There is one in particular that requires you to have at least 2 DualShock controllers. I think a lot of people will have 2 DualShock controllers, but forcing the player to have additional devices to unlock all the trophies in a game is never a good thing. I'm not the biggest fan of multiplayer trophies either, as the players can just work together and cheat to unlock them, which removes any challenge. Overall, the campaign trophies here are great, but the multiplayer related ones does hurt the list. And now it's time for the verdict. I must admit, when I first started playing the game, I did find it quite frustrating, as you really do have to pick the right animals that work best against each level's enemies. But as I continued playing, I did get quite addicted to it, thanks to the charming looking and frequently unlocked animals. For a tower defense game, it has quite a surprising amount of action elements, considering you must maneuver the animals around enemies. I'm not a massive tower defense game fan, but I really did enjoy my time with the game, and it was mainly due to it having these action elements. The inclusion of additional modes was a good attempt at some couch co-op, but overall, only 1 game out of the 3 is quite fun. Overall, the game is actually of quite high quality, thanks to its presentation. If you get frustrated easily, it may not be the game for you, but if you can push through these moments, you'll find a very unique and fun tower defense game. Oh no, Beep's in trouble! Away with you, evil beast! Move, motion!
No!
Sure you did, Beep.
This is unfortunate.
Beep t-shirts are now available. Check the link in the description of this video for more information. I really do have a love-hate relationship with this game. It certainly is quite fun, but it's let down at times by a few frustrating moments. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more PlayStation VR content.